First tonight, there's been severe disruption on the East Coast Railway line, with passengers facing delays and cancellations throughout the day. LNER says it was caused by damage to overhead electric wires between Stevenage and Peterborough, which in turn caused damage to a number of trains, and investigations underway. Well, earlier, travellers were advised not to use the service at all. Well, let's get the latest from Richard Moss, who's live at Newcastle Central Station now. Richard, how are things looking at the moment?
Yes, Carol, things are returning to normal now after, as you say, severe disruption, particularly this morning when 7 services which were supposed to stop at Newcastle couldn't. Now, the problem emerged when trains were arriving with something called a damaged pantograph. Now, just bear with me, that's the arm that sits on top of a train and connects to these electric cables and provides the power that pushes the train along. So pretty vital, and they couldn't be going back out again with that damage done. Now, the damage was caused by cables overhead also having damage. That, as you say, was somewhere between Stevenage and Peterborough. They had to use cameras on top of the trains to try and track down where that damage was. But once they did, they could get services back up and running again. Now, David Horn is the managing director of LNER. He's told me about the damage earlier on.
10 of the electric trains, that's about 1 in 3 of the electric trains that we use on the East Coast main line, were affected. We were able to keep the services running as best as possible using our diesel trains, but it was a really challenging situation for our engineers. They've been working hard during the day to get those electric trains back into service. We've got 5 of them back now, and we're hoping to get 5 of them back in time for tomorrow's service, tomorrow morning.
OK, Richard, so what's being done to make sure this doesn't happen again?
Well, as you say, a full investigation is taking place into why this damage was there. Now, the damage is the responsibility of Network Rail. They look after these cables. LNER run the trains on them. And LNER obviously are disappointed that they had to do this, because to advise people not to travel is a pretty major step to take. But there is a little bit of light on the horizon. Take a look at this. This is the new Azuma train on a test run through Newcastle Station today, built, of course, at the Hitachi Works in Newton Aycliffe. Now, they have some extra equipment on them that may make a difference in these situations. This is David Horn again.
One thing the Azumas do have is a lot of spares, redundancy. So our existing trains have 1 pantograph, that's the component that was damaged. The Azuma trains have 2. So in this scenario with Azuma, we'd actually be able to keep services running a bit better than we have been today.
So, as you see, trains are running here. This is not an LNER one, of course. But the LNER are pretty much back to normal now. There have been a couple of cancellations this afternoon, but the advice now is that you can probably turn up and expect to be able to get your train, and certainly by tomorrow morning things will be back to normal. Train tickets that were due to run today are valid tomorrow, so if you did manage to cancel your journey, then you will be able to actually travel on that same ticket on an LNER train tomorrow, and hopefully the disruption is over. Carol.
Thank you, Richard.